Hi everyone, hope you're doing great. आज हम देखेंगे what is CSS Flexbox. तो जब आप अपनी वेबसाइट को एक बहुत अच्छा लेआउट देना चाहते हो, you basically use CSS Flexbox for that. ठीक है. We'll also see some properties related to it like justify content, align items, and flex wrap, and many more properties. So let's get right into it.
So these are the topics which we are going to discuss today. Let's get right into it straight away. So I've created a new folder here, Flexbox Part 1. Let me just create an index.html file, HTML, and I'll also create a style.css. Right. In this file, let's just complete the boilerplate code, and this is the style.css file which we are using. Right. Let me just link the style CSS file. So link CSS autocomplete. So the file name is also style.css. So this should work, right? And let me just quickly open the live preview as well. This page. So this is the live preview of the page. Let me just add some, some testing code. I'll just say dot items item with 3. So this will give me 3 div tags with class item. In the first, I'll add 1, 2, and 3. Right. So these are the 3 div tags, and I'll enclose them in another div tag dot container. Okay. So this container will actually contain the item class div tags. Right. So let's just see what is Flexbox first. Right. So we have different types. We can give display in different types, right? So we have seen display block, we have seen display inline, right? Today we are going to discuss something called display flex, right? So let me just add some code in this file also. So margin 0 as we do always, and box sizing border box, right? Let me just add a container dot container, right? This is the class, and I'll just add a height of, let's just give this container the whole window height, so 100 vh, right? And let's just give it a width of 100 vw, right? And let's just give this a background color of, it says sky blue. Yeah, this should look fine, right? So this container is actually the whole web page. We have given this whole web page height and whole web page width, and of course we can also give some classes to items, right? So right now, if I give some classes to items, so we all know that container is having a display property which is blocked right now, right? The default display property is block, right? And if I add some css to this item, so let's just give it a height of, each item will have a height of 10 rem and a width of 10 rem, right? Let's just give them actually it's item, not items. So you can see these are separated by 10 rem now, right? Just give me a second. Right. So okay, now what I would do, I will just give it a background color of let's say light gray, or I can say white, right? So you can see that here are some div tags which are actually of white color, and we always give background color ताकि हमें पता चल जाए कि where is this like element present in the DOM, right? ठीक है. So let me just so you can see, like, since we are using a display block, ये blocks ऐसे align हो रहे हैं, right? But what if I wanted to give some gap between them, right? I'll just say like margin in each item. I'll just give it a margin top of 1 rem. We've seen this, है ना? We can do this, right? And आप देख सकते हो कि this is actually overflowing, but again this is what happening right now, right? This is actually overflowing. So there are some problems which we can face. And also, if I wanted these div elements 1 2 3 not to align themselves as a column but as a row, right? I wanted 1 2 3 like this, 1 2 3, right? If I show you like this, so I'll want, say 1 2 3 are coming in this fashion right now. If I wanted 1 2 3 to come in this order, what would have I done, right? Let's see. So this is where like display property comes in. So I'll just, if I say that I'll just simply change, I'll just remove this margin dot top, and I'll just change display block property. If I change it to flex, see what happens. These blocks, these div tags which are having class items, have arranged them in, you can say, a row fashion, right? So this is why we use display tag, display flex, because we can, flexibly align the items as how we want, right? So if I, let's say if I wanted, so there's a property in display flex. I can, give them display flex, but also I can change some things. So display, so flex direction, if I say column here, they'll come back to the normal position, this order. But right now we are also having flex. We'll see why do we need this display flex in the future, like coming up properties, right? So one of the properties is if I wanted them to arrange themselves in the middle of this container, like right this, like this. If I draw, if I'm able to draw this, let me just quickly draw this. If I wanted these div tags to come right here, right, 1 2 and 3, if I wanted them to come here, I can simply add some properties in the container, and I'll simply be able to achieve this behavior. Let's just see how we can do this. So I'll just do one thing. I'll just give it a display flex direction of row only, right? We've seen what is flex direction. It can change the direction of alignment in row fashion or column fashion, right? Okay, let me just, let's just move on to the next property, which is actually flex direction we've covered. Let's just see what is justify content. So justify content aligns the item, right, in the direction of flex. Okay, so let me just give it this justify content, and I'll just say center here. So you can see these items have been centralized, and the like containers flex direction is row, so every item coming in this container will be ordered in terms of row. So direction is horizontal, you all can imagine, right? And justify content is aligning these items as center in the on the horizontal margin, you can see on the horizontal axis, right? So justify content aligns the items in in the direction of flex, right? If I give it align items center, see what happens. So these items have been aligned in the opposite, like the flex direction is row, which is, we can say, horizontal, and align items are aligning these items vertically, right? So you can see justify content is aligning items horizontally, align items is aligning items what, vertically. But this is because we have given a flex direction of row here. If I say that I'll just give it a flex direction of column, so justify content is now actually aligning the items based on the vertical axis, because the flex direction is also a column which can be said as vertical order, right? And align items is actually, if I remove this property, you can see align items is actually working in the horizontal axis now because of the flex direction. So align items works perpendicular to the flex direction, and justify content works along with the flex direction, right? So now you all can see that I can, if I give it a row again, so this is aligned in the middle of the page, right? Let me just, reduce a little bit of the height of these. Okay, or let's just say, let's make them 9 rem, right? And if I wanted, so justify contents and align items are having a lot of properties. So first property is, of course, the center property, which will align the item on the center of the, you can say, axis, right? Then there's a property called start. So start, or you can also use flex start. Flex start or flex or only start can be used to, align the items based on the start point. So start point is this, right? This item, so they'll align to the left side of the thing, and right of the container. If I say that end, then you can see they have aligned themselves to the rightmost side. If I say space between, this is one of the smart properties you can use in order to manage your, whole web page. So if I say justify content space between, so you can see that these containers are having some space between them, and they have smartly aligned themselves, right? If I say space evenly, and of course space between is no so these, the 1 and 3 are not having space with this wall, right? So these are aligning themselves smartly. So if I say space evenly, so you can see everything is having little bit space, and this looks nicer, right? And they are smartly aligning themselves. This is the power of flex property, right? And we can also say that space around properties there. So they'll have a space, they'll arrange themselves so that they're having space around them also, right? So this is how we can, let's just say space evenly for now. and this is how we can manage this container, right? By using justify content. These properties will also align on if I say start here, this will work, flex start, flex end, they'll go down, and all these properties will also work on the align item. Let me just give them a center, right? So these are all the properties which we have discussed regarding the justify content. Let's just go to the next thing. Align items we've also discussed. Let's just see what is flex wrap. Okay, this is one of the most smartest thing we can do with Flexbox, right? So many a times you've seen that you're having these Instagram posts, right? So if you go to a profile page of someone, you'll see there are a lot of posts and they're lined in this fashion. So first post will come actually here. Oh, let me just draw something quickly. So if so, for example, this is one of the Instagram pages of someone, so you can see first post, the latest post will come here, the second post, like the second latest post will come here, the third latest will come here, the fourth latest will not go out of the you can say viewport, it will actually come down here, right? So this is wrapping. So right, we'll start from here and then we'll start from here. So this is actually wrapping of content. So you can imagine what I'll do. I'll add some more div tags. You can see this is getting somewhat congested here. More. This has got a lot more congested, right? If I give it a flex wrap, let's just give the container. So all these flex properties are given to the container. So that container knows how to arrange the items inside it. If I give it a flex wrap property of wrap, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4 have been aligned smartly and 5 and 6 are wrapped around the bottom. So if I increase this page, you can see 5 have gone there, and this is kind of a responsive website. So now since the space is enough for to manipulate, like to encompass 6 also, so 6 has shifted to the first row itself. If I decrease this, they will smartly align themselves, right? So this is what is the magic of, you can say, flex wrap. There's also one property which you can use, which is useful while working with this. If I give it gap of 1 rem, they all will be separated from 1 rem. So whenever they so if I don't give this gap property, they'll wrap once the 1 and 2 touch. See, if 1 and 2 when they touch, they'll go like 4 will go to the next line, right? If I give it a gap of 1 rem, it remains a little bit nicer to see, right? So 1 and 2 will come when like 4 will go to the next line when 1 and 2 have gap of less than 1 between them. So you can see if 1 rem, the gap is less than 1 rem, then 4 will go to the next line. So this is one of the another property which you can use beautifully to manage this flex wrap direction, right? So this is about flex wrap. Let me just go to the next property. Then there's a flex flow property. So many times what happens is flex flow property is not a new property in itself. It is used to give this flex wrap property and flex direction property in one go. So let me just, if I delete these two properties, or let's say comment these two properties, and if I give it a flex flow, and in VS Code also it's suggesting first you have to give flex direction and then you have to give a flex wrap. Flex flow, I'll just give it a flex direction of row, then I'll give it a flex wrap of wrap. You can see instead of writing these two things, we can simply write flex flow row wrap. So this will also manage the same thing, but these are the same things. Main thing you need to understand is that how these properties are working, right? So this is the whole thing about this. Also let me just make it little bit nicer, or I'll just say item will have, so 1, 2, 3 are like somewhat not appealing right now, right? I'll just say font size, I'll just give it a font property, font size of 2 rem, right? Or let's just say 3 rem, right? And I'll just give them a color of let's just give it white, and after that we can change this color as per our liking. So I'll just change it to this color. This color seems a little bit nicer, right? And if I want them to come in the center of these containers, so item is acting as a container for this text 1, 2, 3. If I give it a display flex here, and if I give align items center, they'll align themselves vertically, and if I give them justify content center, they'll align themselves horizontally. So this is all about the first lecture of display flex. Hope you are able to understand everything and hope you enjoyed this lecture. Let's meet in the next lecture. Until then, keep coding.